And so can I read it for you real quick? I came across it and it says, which came first, the eagle or the egg? And it says this: a little boy was wandering in the forest and came upon an eagle's nest. And he plucked an egg and he brought it back to his farm, and giggling to himself, he slid it under a mama-to-be chicken. Soon after the chicken's eggs hatched, there among the chicklets was a female eaglet. The little eaglet grew up with her chicken peers, learning all sorts of chicken habits. How to walk like a chicken, how to squawk like a chicken, how to eat like a chicken. This eagle did it all. However, no matter how passionately she put her all into her chicken existence, she always felt like something was missing. She didn't know what, but she felt an inner emptiness. One day she looked up in the sky and she saw a beautiful bird soaring freely among the weird sense of connection. She longed to be up there flying too. And suddenly she had this flash of insight. She flapped her wings and realized to her surprise that all along she had the ability to take off. So she took off, and that's when she realized that there was more to her than mere chickenhood. She was meant to fly, as well as cash in on some other pretty nifty eagle perks. Now, you know, that sounds so simple, but the reality is some of us have been raised in chicken households. We work with some chicken people. We have talked with some chicken talk. Come on. We squawk like a chicken. Sometimes we think like a chicken, when all along God created you to be an eagle. God created you to soar, and that everything you need to do and everything that you need to be, that He has already called you for, He's equipped you for. So today, we're gonna lay aside all the chicken habits, all right? And we're gonna soar as the eagle that God has called us to be and live the empowered life. Somebody slap your neighbor, say, you still don't have a clue who you're sitting next to. Because when I say that you were created to be a world changer and a history maker, I literally mean that. You see, people would look at my life and they would say, well, how could that ever be? I mean, when you go, Pastor Max says, well, here's the introduction and all of that. I've never owned a business card in my life. I mean, when I didn't grow up in a Christian home, my father committed suicide when I was 5 years old, sexually and physically abused. I came from a pretty well-to-do family. My mother has 2 masters and her doctorate. And when I was 18 years old, I had a radical encounter with a loving God who transformed my life. I was chasing a guy. Don't look at me like you've never had sin in your life, all right? I was chasing this guy, and I went over to his house, and his uncle looked me in my eyes and said, I've got the answers to your questions and the solution to your pain and problems. And all of a sudden, he showed me what salvation was all about. And he showed me that God had a plan for my life, that God loved me so much. And he literally took me through the Romans roadmap. And not only that, but I'll have to confess, he took me through deliverance. I had quite a bit. And I mean, God has just done all this progressive work in my life. And it sounds so corny, but I walked outside, Pastor Mac, and suddenly the grass was green and the sky was blue. And my life went from this black and white to this technicolor. And he gave me the word of God, and he told me to go find a church, and I went and I found a few places, and pretty much everyone was like 60 or 70, which is very young now. But at that time when I was 18, I'm like, they're old. I need that book. And so I grabbed a Bible and I just did nothing literally for 2 years but stay in the Word of God. Dropped out of college at the time, and so my parents disowned me. My mother had remarried when I was 9 to a 2-star admiral. He was chief of medical service corps, and so they thought I was a Jesus freak and had gone crazy. And in fact, I was forbidden to even come into their home. But that wasn't a hard decision, because I knew that if I rejected God, there was no hope for any of us. But I knew if I would stand with God, there would be hope for everyone. And I can tell you, all of my family is saved today. Every single family member is serving the Lord and has a relationship with God.